Hi to everyone and welcome to our first episode of Chatting with Style. Tonight, may introduce to you an important guest, an international guest from Düsseldorf, Dennis Köhrer from Germany.
Hello.
Thanks for being here. It's a great pleasure for us. And tonight we want to discuss about some important topics, broken file removal. So very, very difficult topics, and it's an important topic to discuss about it, because we can buy a lot of stuff for the broken files. Some stuff are very good, other stuff not so good. So please show us something that could be a nice opportunity for us.
Yes, I think, like you said, the removal of broken files has become a more important topic in the last years. So,
especially in this year when a lot of native instruments are
actually a lot
inside of the roots.
instruments.
So that's why.
So and I think it has been in the past an unloved topic, and nobody really likes to talk about it. It's not the most favorite topic to talk about, that you broke a file or that you have to deal with this. And I think if you take a look at the numbers, I don't know the numbers for Italy, but at least we have some information about Germany and the US. And if you look at the numbers there, we have like fraction rates of something between 1 to 6%. So if we look at the numbers, that we have about 10 million root canals performed in Germany, just in Germany a year, and you do the math, it's about something between 100 and 600,000 files that break every year, and that I think most of them are not being removed. And if you look at countries like the US, where you have even more files, more root canals been done, there are more files in the root canals like buried.
So that's why
I think it is a great topic.
It's really important, the skills of the operator, the expertise, but also the equipment.
Yes.
Because the equipment, talking about the microscope, but also the accessory equipment are very, very important for this kind of treatment.
Yeah, and it's really difficult if you we all know how tiny this root canal is, and it has always been a problem also for me, that I think we all know and we all faced, that it's so hard to grab something deep down in the root canal and to loosen it. And so we are facing a lot of problems, and I think the biggest problem on retrieving files is that we never really had a predictable technique and a predictable instrument that helps us dealing with those cases and helps us saving these teeth. Because I think for the long term, and there has been a long discussion about whether leaving the file or taking it out, and the damage we do to the tooth by trying to take them out. And I think we should take it out, because if I agree that we can discuss about leaving a file in place if we are dealing with vital cases. I think
sometimes you can bypass it.
Exactly.
Okay.
But if we are dealing with an infected case, I think it's really not the safe way to go, because even if we bypass it, and we all know bypassing is difficult.
Not easy?
It takes a long time.
Predictable technique, because as you know, our claim is feasible, teachable, and predictable.
Exactly.
So that's why it's very, very important.
Yeah.
Can't use instrument or technique that's help us to solve the problems. I published in 2001 an article on Endodontic, an Endodontic journal about the retrieving files, and I have a lot of experience about the retrieving files, but for sure it's not easy when the file is long and is deep inside of the root. So for sure we need something that can grasp and cache the instrument. Otherwise it's really impossible. Also, of course, in the decision-making process we have to decide exactly if it's possible to do it or not. It depends on the position of the instrument, of the root canal anatomy, and so on. Because it's really important. Remove the file, but not destroy the root.
Exactly. So, and I would add like skills. You have
Yeah.
to add the skills and the devices.
And
you can
devices,
use. And
of course.
so this was really a thing where I thought, okay, there needs to be something that needs to be done some improvement. So
that's why probably EndoCowboy can help us.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. And,
okay. Describe a little bit the instrument also.
It is a lasso system
For our
because
followers.
I've tried many systems, and all the
Me
tube
too.
techniques
Me too.
and the tube techniques where you like try to block the instrument in a tube. There is, I think, always the problem that you have no view. You don't see anything. So from this point, you trough around, and I think we all agree that ultrasonics and sonics, they're a technique which needs to be used by the file retrieval, and it's probably the technique which helps you to move most of the files. But at some point, you want to have an instrument to grab the file and also to loosen the file, because the ultrasonics, especially if you use ultrasonics, you have always the risk of a second fracture.
Yeah.
And if you have to really go deeply, trough deeply around the file, you do a damage to it.
Yeah,
again.
damage too.
So there have been all these different issues which I faced and said like, okay, I want to see what I'm doing, because this is really important. We want to see what we treat. That's why we use the microscope. So with the cone beam, we have the big advantage that we can really locate the file. We understand the anatomy, so we know where's the curvature and where's the instrument, and what difficulties are we going to face by removing this instrument. So then I think the lasso technique is one of the most promising, because this gives you the chance of really seeing what you're doing and then grabbing this file, because all the instruments where you try really in a normal way to grab the file, you always need too much space. So and you can see actually what you're doing. So I thought really the lasso technique was having, or had a lot of advantages, but the systems that were out on the market, they really didn't satisfy me, and they were expensive in use.
Yeah.
They break very easy.
Yeah.
And they were they were sometimes really difficult to set up. It took a lot of time
and to use it.
And
but
so
EndoCowboy is different, because you improve part of the devices, especially to solve this kind of problem. I try with other system, and the most biggest problem is to try to have a strength, a really nice strength with the files and with the wire. So this is one of the most important problems. So with EndoCowboy, we can grasp consistently the fragment and make it a big loading.
What we try to improve. So we had these different points we didn't like, and so I studied engineering before I studied dentistry. So I had this passion for technique and engineering. So I thought, okay, how can we make it better? So then there are like different things. So we realized very fast that the wire is one of the biggest problems. So that you cannot, with the other devices, you cannot really pull. And if they are not thought for single use, you have the problem that you might have a okayish wire at the first time you use it, and then you use it again, then it breaks. And that's natural, because the wire will have a cycling fatigue just as a file. So if you bend it and tighten it very close, it's like a paper or a clamp. If you do it 4 times, it will break, and that's the same with the lasso. So lassos need to be single use. That's why we designed the instrument, so that we have really a lifetime instrument. It was really important for me that we have the top light quality.
And we are talking about the lasso that is very thin.
Exactly. So we had, because you want to choose, we put a lot of effort into the wire. I was so happy to find people who really knew what they were doing. It's a company that has like more than 100 years experience in wire drawing, and they really helped us developing an amazing wire. So we achieved almost double the tear resistance. Yeah, it's a German company. Yeah, yes, and so they achieved to double the tear resistance, and what's even like almost as important as the tear resistance is the elongation. This is something we found out on the way, because if you have a wire that elongates very much, even if it has a good tear resistance, the problem is that the lasso gets loose while you try to work with it. And what we want to do is we want to bring our lassos or loop system into the game. We want to bring it earlier into the game, so we don't have to trough around too much. We don't have to spend so much time losing the frame. In general,
how many millimeters we need to grasp the frame with the lassos?
It's really hard to like give an exact number, because it's also really hard to measure down there. I normally say you need like 0.5. We need less. That's also why we decided against like a little rod that separates the two wires, because that takes away some space. So so this is why we choose just a normal cut cannula. So you don't need so much space. You don't need to trough too deeply around the file. So what we normally say is you need around 0.5 so you can grab it. So this is about
0.51 millimeters could be nice.
That's about enough. And with most other lasso systems, you really need to loosen the file very much with ultrasonics or sonics, and so that it's more a grabbing instrument. So because of the wire, which is so tear resistant and it doesn't elongate, you really have. It's a whole different thing. You can really pull in it, and so double the tear resistance. It sounds like okay, they doubled the tear resistance, but it's a lot. You really feel when you use the big wire, and you feel how hard you can
because
pull.
We have two different sizes. Three sizes.
The EndoCowboy comes with two different lasso sizes with the device. So in the package you'll find like I'd say the lasso tips out used in 80% of the cases or 90% of the cases. So we have a thick and strong lasso for the long and thick files. So we all know these files that are like super long, and they have a long contact to the wall, to the canal wall, and we are facing the problem that they are like a screw. They are screwed in, so you need a lot of tension or pressure, force to get them out. So for these cases, we have the 0.12 wire. So it has the wire has a 0.12 diameter, and the cannula is 0.5. So still really thin. And so you can really use it in the upper part of the root canal. So if you have the smaller files and you want to go deeper into the root canal, we have the 0.1 lasso. And then because we had a lot of requests, and also I found it so since we all know those cases where you have like the file fractured really deep, like on the last 3 millimeters. And there you want to be like really carefully, and you don't want to like do too much damage to the tooth. And that's why we actually came up with the 0.08 wire. So we really managed, and that was the hardest thing, to get the 0.08 wire through the 0.3 cannula. So it needs to be all done by hand, and the wire, we really. These two wires took a long time, but the 0.08 wire was the hardest one to develop, because by changing the diameter, the whole, how do you say, the properties of the metal, they all change
all the time,
drawing it and smaller.
And it looks ergonomics.
Yes,
because it's sometimes it's not so easy to work inside of the mouth, but we can turn a little bit this wire outside, not so
Yeah, we prepared
close
it
to-
outside,
yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
So what was really important for us was we wanted to have like a high quality device,
Yeah.
so that you really buy once in your lifetime as an endodontist, then you have it
Yeah.
for your lifetime, and that you can really feel you're using a high quality device. It is all milled from surgery stainless steel, it's a really high grade stainless steel, so it will last forever. Since we wanted to have a design that the dentist knows, because we all love to work like this, and I think like having I don't know, but I don't like the pistol devices, because this is not how I want to do precision work.
I agree with you.
So we wanted to have this pen style, so you can work precisely with the thing. And a lot of people like at the beginning say like, yeah, but I want to do it by myself, like the lasso tension. I want to do it all by myself. We as dentists have this this feeling then, or this thing that they want to do everything by themselves. But actually, giving the responsibility and the tension of the lasso to your assistants is letting you really focus on the most important thing, and that's placing the lasso around the file and trying to remove it. So you really have to concentrate on that. And so if you're responsible for the lasso tension, either you have to tension it while you're placing it around, and you just try make a point here on the table and then try to really stay there while you're trying to turn the wheel, and so you're not staying there. So you can't be really, you can't concentrate on what you're doing. So, and if you have to keep the lasso tension with a bottom, then you just have to focus a little too much and forget about the tension, and then you slip off the file. So this is the idea, that you really concentrate it, and then you give the command to your assistant, and she will like slightly turn the wheel, and then the lasso will close. And we put a bearing in there, because we faced at the first prototypes, we had the problem that the friction, because the better our wires got, the more friction came to the system. And so it was like a screw you tighten, it was the friction like took away all the feedback. You didn't know what you were doing. So we really faced that problem for some time, and then at some point these ideas always come at night in bed. So we put came on the idea and put a bearing in there. So the bearing takes away all in-system friction, and so you can feel that when you turn it, that it's super precise, and then you can really feel what the wire is doing.
In your opinion, how is predictable today the broken file removal, in general, with some devices or without the devices? Is it predictable or not? In general.
In the past, for me, it hasn't been. I never knew how much time it would take, and I never knew how much to charge for file retrieval, because you were like kind of jumping into the dark. You never know what to expect. But
today is predictable.
Today, for
Absolutely.
me, file retrieval has really become, and I love now file retrieval. Before it was like more, it was no fun. Today I love them.
It was a nightmare before.
Exactly, not because it makes it predictable. Because we really, it has to do not only with the device, but with techniques you have to learn, and especially when you really trough around the file. And this is something I think if we have done or spend some time retrieving files, we all know that we have to trough around and all this. But at some point we all face the same problems with long files. You don't know how to take them out.
In your opinion, how is important the training with these devices, or also with other kind of devices, to make the retrieval predictable?
Yes, I think so too. It's a combination. It's the, like we said, it's the skills, and these you can train, and it's the devices you have. That, like if you have.
In any case, probably we need some training before to use the EndoCowboys on the tooth.
Yes.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah, I would say so. You will really. We are trying.
So do you suggest
working on
a little bit of
tutorials,
training on extract the teeth, and so try to understand exactly the technique. So probably we can see some tutorial about
Yeah.
the EndoCowboy. Right.
So we put really tutorials on the webpage. We traveled around a lot now to give hands-on courses to really teach the technique, because, for example, what we found out is that using sonic, for example, gives a big advantage. It's cheaper. You don't have these super high costs, because this is also a problem. If you have to pay $130 for a tip, for ultrasonic tips, and you're always like afraid that it breaks, then you maybe have a device which costs some €100 for use, and you're always afraid to use them, and if they break, you're frustrated. And how are you going to put a price tag on your treatment? So that was really important. So we really have these single use tips you can choose for your individual case. And so you can really predict the cost, because they are like, depends. We really went for a system that you get a better price when you buy more tips, because they are expensive in manufacturing because of the wire, because of the handmade. They don't fall off a machine like a file. And so you can really nicely predict your cost that you have. And
of course, this is a really
this
important
is advantage.
Really
and
important. Time and cost.
Time and cost. That's the enemy we have every day.
Absolutely.
With every treatment. So,
can you show us the assembling of
how it works? Yeah, sure.
Yeah, how it
so,
works.
like I said,
I suppose it's really important.
Yeah, the device comes, and it was really important for us that you have an easy setup, and that you don't spend like 10 minutes preparing the device.
Fantastic.
So. The device comes with 2 packs of lasso, so there are already 6 lasso tips included, and we have the like I said, the biggest wire, the 0.12, and so they all come like separately packed. And so let's unpack one. You have to, like always, if you cut it open, please watch out that you don't cut the wire. So the game is over before it started.
Please don't do it.
No.
Don't cut the wire.
So then we have this wire here. I put this aside a bit. So
yes, it's beautiful. It's really beautiful.
And
really thin.
Yeah, what you can feel is, and this is the thickest one, and what you can feel is the quality of the wire.
Can't feel, but it's. Yeah. Trust me, it's really nice. It's really
you
nice.
can feel it. If you take a normal wire, also from the other devices, you will feel that the wire, the surface feels totally different. And this is one of the major issues. The surface is like a high-tech surface that hires. It's like the files. If you if you have like a rough surface, that's where the wire or the file is going to break. So it's actually pretty easy. I always take it like this. And then turn the EndoCowboy a bit with the screw to the downside, and then you just thread it in here. It's always a bit easier if you place it down here. And so there is a little round surface which always leads this thread to here. This always leads the thread to this side. You can like make it a bit easier if you turn it a bit down. Then you just place the EndoCowboy and you open this screw just a tiny bit, doesn't need to be much, and then you just put the wire under the screw and then you screw it and then you're done. So you can cut this. I never cut this because it's just lying here, it's just no problem. And then, I mean, it depends how you like to work. Some like to prepare it completely before the treatment, and I usually have them set up like this, and then I do the last setting by myself. Some like to already pre-bend it and so on. So what we can do now is, we have this lasso here. I don't know if we can see it in the camera.
I can see clearly the lasso.
And that we do not pull too strongly on the wire here. So then we can pre-bend it. And we
go inside the canal.
Exactly. So this is, you can do just like ever you want it. And what's really important, what helped me a lot is, if I try, it's not always possible, but I always try to have one finger here on the cannula, because it gives me a super beautiful feedback on what the wire is doing around the file and how strong it is connected to the file. So I can really feel either the wire is not like really tight now, I can feel it like clicking. And when it's really tight, I can feel the connection to the file and I can feel how the file starts to move. And what we do first is then we try to form the wire. So we have to catch it now here. And now if you turn this on the back really slowly, yeah, exactly. So now the wire is closing. Perfect. And that's enough. And you already should feel a little resistance there. And then I can pre-bend it a bit like this. And now you have the loop formed.
Yeah.
Okay? And that's actually it. Yeah. So you can put the lasso wherever you need it. If you need it on the other side, you just turn it here and put it on the other side. So then you have it, and then you can start. And really, if you have the finger here, and this is one of the big advantages, you can really control it. If you have a device which looks like this, or you just can hold it like this, you have like, it's like fishing.
Absolutely.
You don't have any control. So you really want to have your finger here, and so you can control the force you're putting to the file very nicely. And then you can push and pull. And this is really one of the secrets. If you push and pull, and you can even try to like turn a bit and like a bit like extracting a tooth.
Exactly.
Yeah, we have something really special on this particular device because we have the style Italiano logo. We lasered it in there, and I don't know if you can see it if you look at our logo here.
You can see the logo.
Yeah. If you turn it around, you can see we have a special lasering in here. This is for the crazy guys. Let me turn it around and show you. Here you can see the colors because we have a special lasering that lasers the colors.
The EndoCowboy logos.
Exactly. And so we did that with the Italiano logo, and you can really, if you pull it to the different light, you can see the colors of the Italian flag.
Beautiful, with the Italian flag. So, thanks to being here. Yes, it's a good opportunity to discuss about very important topics. And for all guys, if you have any questions, you can do and write below some comments of the video, and for sure we will reply to all the comments, okay, and all the questions. So a big thanks to everybody, and see you next time.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure to be here.
My pleasure and our pleasure. Thanks, Dennis.
Thank you.